Alrighty, let's start. What's first on that list?
Kidney.
Ding dong. Kidneys.
Ureter.
Can't read my handwriting? Ureter, okay? The tube that leads down to the bladder, okay? Ureter, right here.
Urinary bladder.
Urinary bladder. Notice that the urinary bladder is a muscular walled structure.
The ureter.
Ureter, that's what you gave me seconds. That's this. Yes, ureters, here. Ding,
Oh, okay.
ding dong.
Urethra.
Dong ding. Urethra, okay? Urethra is what leads out of the bladder. So there's only a little short little piece showing here. So this is the urethra right there.
Trigon.
The trigon, see this triangular thing here? Like this triangular thing here? Okay, the trigon is formed by the entrance of the ureter, which is here and here. Remember, I told you ureter doesn't just dip in on top. It rides along the surface and dips in down here, about 2/3 of the way down. And so that's two angles of the triangle, the trigon. And here is the third angle of the triangle, where the opening of the urethra is. Okay, so this is the trigon right here. That's an important surgical marker.
Prostate gland.
Prostate glands, shown right here in purple.
Hilum.
The hilum is the part of the kidney that's indented like this to give it that bean-like shape. It's the place where the artery goes in, the vein comes out, the ureter begins. So it's the equivalent of the hilus in the lung, okay? It's the place where things go in and out.
Renal artery and vein.
Okay. The renal artery is in red, the vein is in blue. You can see them, the artery on above and the vein below here, and on this side, the arteries in back or below and the vein above. So obviously, if this is the renal vein, this must be the IVC, right? And if this is the renal artery, this must be the aorta. And if this is the aorta, what is this? Supmes and infmes, right? What would this be? Probably the celiac, yeah. Too big to be the real celiac, okay. Anything else on that list? No, that's everything on that list, right? Hilum? Okay.
Segmental artery.
So now, we have to go to another model. The renal artery is right here, and it divides into segmental arteries. So this only shows one segmental artery right here. What's next on that list?
Interlobe. Interlobar.
So the segmental artery divides into interlobar arteries, which move up in between the renal pyramids. Interlobar artery. I'll do it again. Renal artery, segmental artery, interlobar artery, here and here. This is another interlobar artery, incidentally, right here. Okay, next on the list should be arcuate. Yes? Okay. You see how this interlobar, this is an interlobar right here too. It arches into two. Each interlobar produces two arches. See it? Two arches. Each interlobar produces two arches. The arch is the arcuate artery. Notice that the arcuate artery forms right at the border between cortex and medulla. Okay, now the arcuate arteries, notice they give rise to these smaller arteries which come up here and move up through the cortex. And those are called the interlobular arteries. So you got to make sure you spell interlobar and interlobular correctly. What's next on the list? Afferent, glomerulus, efferent, and then capillary bed. Okay. The afferent arteriole is the one that leads into the little white ball. The little white ball is meant to be the glomerulus. So, if we go to this thing, which is a blow-up of one of these, incidentally, I want you to take note that the pyramids, the renal pyramids, there are about 6 to 8 of them in most people's kidneys, okay? And they're in the medulla, and then the cortex is out here, all right? So now, let's go back. What you have here is an interlobular, right? It's between the pyramids. Interlobar. Interlobar, arcuate, interlobular. Get it? Same thing as here, but there's a blow-up. So interlobar, arcuate, interlobular. So then these things that lead into the ball here, into the little white ball, that's your bigger, wider afferent arteriole. The ball itself encloses the glomerular capillaries, which you can see in this thing. Glomerular capillaries. And coming out of the glomerulus is the efferent arteriole, which is thinner in diameter than the afferent one was. You can see that all along here. See an afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. And then these little capillaries that come from the efferent arteriole, that's next on your list. What does it say there? Capillary loop of, what does it say?
Capillary bed of
Bed of cortex. All right, I'll point that out to you a little bit more in another model. But, you know, this thing represents a cut. This represents a piece of this blown up. And this represents a piece of the glomerulus, the white ball blown up. So let's look at this now. The wider arteriole that enters is the afferent arteriole, and the thinner one that comes out is the efferent arteriole. Afferent, efferent. These are the glomerular capillaries. Remember, those are the weird capillaries because they lie between 2 arterioles. Their blood pressure is twice as high as other capillaries. They only transfer fluids out. They never take anything back in because their pressure is too high to allow anything to come back in there. Okay? So these are unique, weird.
The white ball is called glomerulus.
Now, the glomerulus includes this capillary, glomerular capillaries. Okay? So glomerulus is the whole ball plus what's inside of it. Afferent, efferent. There's another model there that I want to take out.